out at Quest in regards to what you're seeing across the state of the state. You have a perfect opportunity to sort of see things from a perspective of multi-agencies, et cetera. Give us a perspective.
Sure. I mean, Quest Software, we've been in the public sector space for almost 30 years. And the journey for us started when we had conversations with customers around the older models. So TSCC, the old C2 model, for instance, Orange Book that later became, what we have today with
Orange Book. You're going old school on us.
Going old school. Sorry. So
no problem.
Not enough gray hair today. But what I have learned over the years is that the centralized moats that we used to put around our kingdoms don't exist anymore. Yeah. And one thing that both, Ryan and John and Lamonte, actually John and Lamonte more so talked about, that federated enterprise where you have multiple locations, you have multiple data centers, for instance. And the minute we all went home during the pandemic, it really highlighted the fact that all of a sudden my endpoints became critically important. So we started to have conversations with customers around, do you understand exactly where your data is? So that data tagging issue that John talked about is very important. Do you understand every user and every endpoint? But the fourth pillar that I always find interesting to discuss is, do you actually understand the application APIs that are being called by all the various applications that are being downloaded to smart devices or even workstations, and what's being used in the browser? What are those browsers applications that you've been connecting to? Even though it's a secure HTTP, what are they actually connecting to? I was doing a talk yesterday, and I made the point that 46% of S3 buckets were found to be improperly configured, for instance. So if you're in a private network and you're connecting to an external application, you don't know where that data is ending up and where it's being cycled, for instance. And even if you've tagged it internally, what happens when it goes outside your network? That's a whole nother series of issues. So we help our customers, and we've been talking about focusing more on the APIs, those endpoints, the users, for instance, and specifically data, to help them flush out that zero trust architecture. And the ultimate data source that we find that needs to be tagged, quite frankly, is AD, Active Directory, which we all take for granted. And we just assume that it's a secure, bulletproof platform. And we keep forgetting that it is the ultimate database within our zero trust architectures. And it's something we help customers focus on as well.